2 weeks ago, my coach asked me a seemingly simple question. Is that your belief, or is that just someone else's belief that you kind of took on as your own? I actually could not answer that question. I realized in that moment, hearing that question, that I was consuming so many people's opinions, ideas, beliefs, and advice that I wasn't necessarily taking the time to discern whether that was actually my opinion or not. I was consuming such a constant stream of these opinions and ideas and beliefs on social media that it was coming at me so fast. I didn't necessarily have the time that I would normally want to take to figure out, what do I actually think? What is my opinion? What do I think about this thing that is right in front of me? That question is one of the sparks that lit a flame of an idea to step away from social media for a full month. And that is what I am talking about today, is what's going on? Why am I doing this? That question was one of the deciding factors, but I'll tell you about the others as well. So the things I'm going to cover: what am I actually doing when I say I'm taking a month off social media? Why am I doing it? What are some of my fears? And ultimately, what am I hoping to learn? Because at the end of the day, doing this without paying attention is not actually helpful. So the what, that's pretty simple. For the month of May 2022, I am going to go off of all social media, meaning no TikTok, no Facebook, no Instagram, no Twitter, no LinkedIn, and no YouTube. I thought about creating content on YouTube still, but realized the pull is so strong. When I sign in to plan my post or go live, I see that little bell. I see the other videos that people are putting out there. And I think stepping away from all is the way to go. And I'll explain a little bit more about that pull in a moment. I am also I'm going to delete all those apps off of my phone. In my browser, I'm going to clear I'm going to log out, I'm going to clear my cache, clear my history, make it a little bit harder to access those sites. And really, I will allow messaging. Someone asked me that. So I'm okay with directly messaging with people. I still want to contact people. I still want to be social. I just won't have social media. So that is the what I am doing. And the why. So I actually have so many reasons. I sat down, as soon as I came up with the idea, I started like, why am I so excited about this? And idea after idea was pouring out of me. But there are 3 that I want to focus on and talk about. So the first is discernment. The second is dopamine. And the third is values. So when it comes to discernment, what I actually mean by that is this idea of having the space and the time to figure out, what do I actually want? Like, what do I care about? What do I believe? What are my opinions? I mean, that question from my coach just made me realize how little space and time I am giving myself to actually figure out what it is that I want to do and why I want to do these things. It was actually we took a short vacation recently, and I wasn't really on social media. And I was taking the time to learn a little bit more about dopamine, which I'll share next. And I had that space and time to come up with this idea. So it was really when I was stepping away that I connected the dots to say, this is what I need right now. And it was very powerful and very strong. And I was able to do that with space. The other thing that I recognized when I was coming up with this idea and writing down all the reasons why this felt right for me right now is that discernment requires presence. You can't discern things. You can't decide what's right for you when you are on autopilot or you are sucked into the vortex of other people's content. You need to pause and step away in order for you to process what is right for you. So that is the first why, and that is a very big why. It's that discernment through presence. Stepping away, I know, will give me more presence. Even if that presence is uncomfortable, which I am sure it will be, which I'll talk about in fears, that is something that's really important to me. The next is dopamine. And this comes from the book Dopamine Nation and the author, Dr. Anna Lembke. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I have heard her on a couple of different podcasts. I've actually linked her book in the description of this YouTube video. I also have a link to a video podcast. And specifically, the part of the book that really resonated, which you can see at minute 24 of her video podcast that I've linked in this description, she talks about the pleasure-pain balance and the fact that in our brain, pleasure and pain are processed in the same area, and that they have this relationship. I'm going to use my two fists as the pleasure pain. She talks about a seesaw and this idea that when we have a baseline level of dopamine, and when we experience something pleasurable, our dopamine kicks up above, but there's always an equal and opposite pain that will come in. So if we think about watching a really amazing show, and like we're binging an episode and it's amazing, and then we find out that it's the last one. So there's the pleasure and then there's the pain. Same with eating an incredible meal and you're loving every minute, and then you realize it's ending. There's that pain. Same if someone's addicted to a substance, there's that pleasure that you feel from the substance, and then there's a come down. And same with social media. Often we're just scrolling and we're not going off because we know that there's that come down after. So she explains that with the pleasure pain balance. That's normal for us to have little spikes in each direction. But what happens when we are addicted to something, including social media, is that we actually start to accumulate on the pain side, and we actually end up in what's called a dopamine deficit. So it actually takes more of the substance. We build up a tolerance. We need more to try and feel any sense of joy. And so our baseline, we feel more sad. We feel more depressed because our dopamine levels have actually changed because of our addiction to a certain substance, or in this case, social media. And I was absolutely noticing that. I was opening out of habit. I was opening out of just needing to go back to that thing, hoping maybe I would get something from it. But overall, I was just trying to use it to escape because I was kind of feeling flat when I didn't have something to distract me for escape. And I recognized it. And when I read this and when I learned about this balance, it was very compelling. And I don't want to be in a dopamine deficit. And one of the ways that you can rebalance your dopamine levels is by stepping away. And she does recommend stepping away for a full month. Now, the next thing that is driving me a big why is I think about my values. This is askew. I think about my values. And when it comes to my values, I actually think, I heard someone say recently, if a camera crew were to follow me for, say, a week, and I just lived my life and someone was documenting how I live my life, would what I watch back on camera align with my values? And right now, it does not feel that way. Scrolling mindlessly or just compulsively opening an app, for not even thinking, being on autopilot, not really being fully present, not feeling like I'm in control of the next thing that I'm doing, that does not align with my values. I often joke on this channel that I don't have enough time to learn certain things or do certain things. And I actually realize, I actually have time. It's just that I am constantly, I've got this compulsive habit and it is pulling me away, and I am diverting my attention to an app that is designed to get my attention. They want me to spend time on there, and it's specifically designed that way. Now, there are a lot of other reasons, but those are the biggest ones that really stand out and the ones that I wanted to share with you today. I'm sure it could go more at length, and I might learn some things. Now, first, I want to talk about fears. My main fear is FOMO. What are people doing? There are creators who are putting out amazing content, and I know I'm going to miss seeing their content. And I also know that there might be a meme or something that people want to share with me, and I won't see it because I'm not on there. So that is one of the big fears for abstaining. My other fear is the discomfort that's going to come. I have stepped away from social media before for short breaks in the past. And usually short breaks, I know I'm coming back, but a month is a long time, and that's going to reset things. And I know I'm going to be uncomfortable. I know I'll probably be reaching for my phone and not having any of the apps on there. So I'm probably going to be dealing with boredom. I'm also going to be dealing with discomfort. And Anna Lembke actually talks specifically about when you start abstaining from something that you have been addicted to, the first few weeks can feel uncomfortable as your dopamine levels, remember, are in a deficit state. So you're looking for ways to escape and to find joy. So you're looking for something. And so I don't want to replace that old habit with another. As for what I want to learn, which is sort of the final thing I want to talk about, I really want to see the change in my mood. I want to, and I know that that's going to happen because of my experience taking short breaks. I have noticed improvements really fast whenever I have stepped away. Even a day or two, I feel more grounded, I feel calm, and I usually feel more content. Not necessarily happy or blissful, but just at peace. And that to me is very powerful. I also want to learn and give myself that space and time to figure out, how do I want to interact with social media? It's going to be around. I get to choose whether or not it's something I want to engage with. Maybe I don't go back to all of the platforms that I have previously been interacting with. Maybe I have some set boundaries or just modify how I'm using them. I'm not sure, because I know that these are designed for drawing in your attention and they're designed to be addictive. And I think it's foolish for any of us to feel like we're more powerful than this. Like, I have more self-control than these addictive apps. They're designed that way. They know a lot and they're specifically trying to get your attention. So I want to really think that discernment through being present and spending that time with myself to figure out, what do I want? And I do plan to report back what it is that I learn, what is my experience like, especially as an entrepreneur who has an online presence. I have this channel and I have a community, and I also feel some guilt over just kind of, peace, like, I'll see you in 4 weeks. However, since mentioning it, I have had a lot of support. So I've received supportive emails from people. I mentioned it. I gave a little advance notice last week to people who were at my live stream, and I have felt nothing but support. So I know that that is okay. And I know I'm doing it for the right reasons. So that is what I'm doing, taking May 2022 off. The why, definitely, it's about discernment, dopamine, and being aligned with my values. I do have some fears, but I am really hoping to learn what works for me. How does this change my brain, my moods, how I feel, and also decide, what does the future look like for me? Hopefully, this gives you something to think about. I really highly recommend checking out Dopamine Nation, either the book or listening to an interview. The one that I linked below is the Huberman podcast, a very powerful one. But no matter what, I will come back and I will share it with you. And really, I just wish all the best for you, and that you can make the time and the space to discern what it is that is right for you.